Melanin Voices is a podcast geared towards building a community of those on a journey of self-discovery. We create space for guests and listeners to share their stories about their exploration of life, appreciation of the good, and how they overcame certain bullshit to get to where they are.
Every week, we take a dive into topics that affect each of our lives at one point or another. Hopefully, by hearing our voices, we will give you the courage to live authentically.
I'm Mariah, also known as Mariah Amazing.
And Yuna, hey! Now you are tuned into Melanin Voices.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Hey, y'all.
Hey!
That was fake, but
It's been so long.
It's been very long. It's been so long, and we hope that you guys are doing well during this unprecedented time.
Man, we got something to tell y'all.
We don't know if y'all gonna like it.
Mariah.
We are ending our journey with Melanin Voices, and this is our last episode. This is it.
I feel like this is like the season finale of like a show, and you know how they like have all the clips of like the important moments throughout all the seasons.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how this feels, like just super nostalgic, sad. I'm not ready for it to end, kind of thing. But we are here, and this is it. So
this is all.
So
yeah, I mean, this has taken us a long time to come to this decision. Again, you know, everything is not final. We can't tell what the future holds for us. Maybe Melanin Voices spinoff, who knows?
Right.
But for now, we will say that it's the end of the road right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're always open to change, and if you feel called to start it back up again, we most definitely will. We just wanted to end it for now.
Yeah.
Put a pause on it for now.
Right. So, like, do we catch up? Like, what do we do now? Like, this is so.
Yeah, I guess we can still say our roses and thorns and go through like we usually would.
All right. Well, what's yours? How have you been?
You go first. I've been saying all the things.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. We just moved and we're here at the new spot.
It looks so cute, you guys.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I'm happy to be in a bigger place. Of course, it's like, you know, every place has its like issues, so it's not perfect, but it's a lot bigger, and that's the one right there.
Yeah, and updated and everything that she wanted.
Right. A thorn? What's been? Man, I just need more money. I just need more money. So yeah, that would probably. That's all I can think of right now. I just need my money.
Man.
Yeah. What about you, friend?
I think a rose has been that this year has been a doozy, but also work-wise, as far as agency work has been decent, I suppose. If you guys are not aware, I was recently in a Planet Fitness commercial, and that commercial has been paying me residuals, so yeah.
I know y'all seen it, because I seen it. Playing Candy Crush.
You know, and it popped on up.
Right.
So that was totally done on a whim, and it turned out to be something fantastic. So yeah, that's been nice. And a thorn, a lot of stuff has happened. Yeah. Unfortunately, my grandmother passed away a few months ago, so I really haven't been in the headspace to record for you guys. I haven't been my best self. And yeah, I think that has been my biggest thorn, honestly, to date. Honestly, everything else kind of doesn't even touch that has been happening bad. That doesn't even compare to that. So right. I think that those have been the two biggest things, just having really great wins, but also that loss kind of overshadowing those.
Right.
But yeah, and then, you know, election week is next week. I hope you all are voting if you feel inclined to. Personally, I just dropped off my vote ballot just now, so that's been really exciting to get that in. And yeah, I'm ready to vote this fucker out. Also, ready for election week to be over, because that is one of the most stressful times in our society. Whoever they choose to be president, it's gonna be honestly just a lot of bullshit either one. So it's gonna, just be one of those weeks where it's gonna be very thick emotions in the air. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm excited to get it over with.
Right.
So yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be some shit that's gonna go. I feel like it's gonna be some shit that's gonna go down. So I'm just like, we'll see what happens.
Right.
Cause y'all president crazy. So you know how that is.
Right.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This feels so crazy. I just can't stop saying how crazy this feels. Yeah, man. We can share some of our favorite moments and things that we're gonna miss about the show. I'll start. So I think one of my favorite, I'll say my favorite episode is probably I feel like we've done this before. Talked about our favorite episodes.
Yeah,
and
usually
stuff
at the end of the year we usually do that. So this is different.
But I feel like we haven't really been recording this year. Like this year has been just weird.
Yeah.
My favorite episode this year.
Yikes.
Right?
I'm like, which have we recorded? I'm just kidding.
3 probably.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many episodes we recorded this year.
I don't know. We got to 100th episode. That was my favorite one, having our live show.
Yeah.
Because it's something that we wanted for quite some time, and it was like a milestone for us for 100th episode. So.
Right.
Yeah. That was definitely top episode for me.
Yeah. I'll say over the years I've enjoyed having male guests on, because it's always interesting to get a different perspective on things. Yeah. I think I do enjoy having those tough conversations with men to figure out where they're coming from, because of course you sit around with your girlfriends and be bashing these niggas out. It's I'm just playing. We don't be bashing y'all, but
we just be speaking how we feel.
Right. And we do that all the time. So we already know how we feel, but it's how do y'all feel? Why y'all be doing this shit?
Right.
Doing the shit that y'all do. So that's been my favorite part. And just of course I always say this, but just meeting new people and getting to know people on a different level. Yeah, and learning more about ourselves for sure, and things that we don't necessarily care about right now, or not care about, but maybe I'm thinking about the I think it was the Frugal Bay episode. Was it Frugal Bay with Michelle? Yeah, I'm thinking about that episode, and I'm finances. I don't want to fucking talk about that shit.
Right.
But it was definitely something that I needed, and something good for me to okay, if this is something you don't want to talk about, let's put it in your face.
Right. I agree.
Also, when we all recorded together, you and Michelle, that was probably a good one of my favorite episodes, because we were all together. Right. And bouncing off of each other, that sort of thing is always fun to do.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so. I think my favorite one had to been I did enjoy the one that we did with Shakira. It sucks though, because you guys didn't get to hear the authentic episode that we had the first go round with Shakira, because we were at my best friend Mikhail's house and the Wi-Fi just kept messing up, messing up. And we were like, damn, we can't, put this out. We did not feel, I was like, we ain't putting this shit out. And so we had to re-record. And so that was frustrating, trying to get that energy back, because a lot of the things we asked her, we had already gotten the answer to. So it was kind of not as authentic as the first go around, so that sucked. But the first take that we shot was really fun.
Yeah.
And we had a good time doing that. Then I would say my second favorite series is when we had the guys on to talk about relationships and stuff. We had 3 different guys on, all of us choosing one, and we all came to the table this is the guy I choose, this guy I choose, this guy I choose, and we just talked about relationships and their business and how each guy was different. So that was fun. And yeah, I think those are my top ones right now that I can think of. Of course, when we had Jasmine on, we had Herman on, we had Kel on, very beginning stages. And yeah, I think that those are all really good episodes for sure. And even the one we had with Devin, when we discussed loyalty and relationships and things like that. And that was fun too, because we got to meet Devin for the first time. He reached out to us actually, and just combining our podcast together, but also building a connection at the time, and now a friend that we have. So that was a good time.
Yeah, now Devin has big people on his podcast. I'm so
proud,
happy for him. I'm so excited for him in his journey, and he's engaged. He's about to be married.
I know. We literally started from wow, that's insane to see how we've grown over the past year. It's only been a year, I think, that since we know Devin.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 year, 1 whole year, maybe a little bit longer than you, like a year and a half.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, not more than 2 years. So that's been cool. I think that's all I can think of right now for episode wise.
What do you think what's something that you learned from the show, either like behind the scenes or like episodes or whatever, that you'll like take with you?
I will say to the audience, like, nothing is as it seemed, you guys, because I get a lot of inboxes like, you seem so like successful, like your podcast is like taking off. Like, it's so funny to me because I'm just like, we really like worked our heinies off to even get to the 100th episode, and I think that a lot of people kind of overthink the podcast. And of course, there's things I wish we would have done differently before me and Michelle started. Like, we should have definitely had a marketing plan. I think we should have definitely thought about that, about what guests we wanted to have on, and just a lot of other things that we learned along the way that I'm happy we did. So yeah, those things like branding and stuff, sure, we probably should have done that prior to us starting the podcast. But I do think that those out there who are looking at us or looking at other podcasts and like, damn, that sounds really cool, I really want to do podcasting, just do it. Like, just get a plan together, write down the goals for your podcast, write down your branding strategy, and just do it. Like, just start, get you a good mic, have your laptop set up, and literally just talk about topics you're interested in that you feel called to talk about. So I think that's some advice I have for our listeners that are thinking of starting a podcast or being a creative in general. Just start. And some other things I learned along the way are just like, I think team building, collaboration, and just communication. There's been many times where me and Michelle and me and Una, all three of us, when we were on the show together, have bumped heads, but we've been able to, come together and effectively communicate with one another out of respect for each other and also the love of our podcast. So I think that has taught me overall to work as a team versus the individual. So I think that that's been good. Obviously, you can carry that with you anywhere you go, relationship, romantic wise, platonic wise, business is always good to have a way of dealing with problem solving. So I think that that's been nice.
Yeah, I would probably say to always be flexible, to stand in what you believe, of course, and voice your opinions, but be flexible in that, like, things may change, or you may lose an episode, for instance.
Multiple times.
We've done that. We've had that happen a lot, or plan to have people come on and they're late or whatever, things don't go the way you think that they should go. So be flexible, but also stand firm, in how you feel, and don't be afraid to speak up. I feel like I always talk about this because I think this is just something that I, struggle with, but to speak your truth no matter what, even if you're like afraid. Like, the quote that's coming to my mind is, speak your truth even if your voice shakes. And for me, it's like, even when your voice shakes, because it definitely will. I'll probably even cry while I'm saying how I feel, but just to be like honest. And I don't know, when you see somebody that you want to talk to, that you think is cool, go ahead and talk to them. This has been my excuse to, like, when I see certain people, oh my God, come on the show. Yes, I want to get to know you. But it's like, I just, want to get to know that person. Mm-hmm. So if you see somebody that you're interested in, not only like romantic sense, but just like, I like the way you dress, or I like, the way you think, or I like your Instagram page or whatever, just go ahead and, I don't know, interact with them.
Yeah. I think that's so cool. I think like last night, I'm not gonna bust her out, but
Yeah.
I had someone that follows me on Instagram. I follow her as well. Reach out to me and say, I know this is kind of weird, but you seem really successful in what you're doing, and I kind of just want some advice. I'm thinking of starting a podcast too. And I was like, girl, it's not weird at all. Like, that's so cool that you actually have the courage to speak to people and, ask questions, because, that's how you find out things. That's how you kind of, and if they don't respond, that's just somebody you shouldn't be speaking to anyways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, obviously in due reason, some people are busy and, I can get back when they can. So don't take everything personally. However, if someone completely ignores you or doesn't give you the resources, maybe they just weren't a good resource for you. And, that's how you can take it too. I want to internalize that rejection that they gave you. But yeah, I say reach out. I'd say I kind of told her the same thing I said. I think it's really cool and really dope of you reaching out. I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's funny, because, starting out, I wish we would have reached out to some people that were in our industry to get some advice and some tips and sit down and get some mentors in the podcast space, because you kind of literally like learn everything along the way. We learn about engineering learn about editing along the way, like, brand colors and strategies and posting times and captions and hashtags and event planning, all that stuff we learned along the way. We didn't know any of this when we started. We just knew that we liked podcasting and we started. But if we would have asked someone like she did, that was in the same space, that was somewhat successful in what they're doing, then we probably would have been, had a better leg up, I suppose. So I'll never be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, I was listening to an episode of the Friend Zone recently, maybe like a month or two ago, and they had like given a bunch of advice to people who are thinking about starting a podcast, and I was like, wow, this would have been good information
to know
to know then,
right.
Yeah, man, I mean, I know there are people that are like want to gather all of the information before they start things, and I know that can probably deter you. But it's like, just get know a little bit of something about it, or at least why you're doing it or who you're doing it for. I think that's a huge part of starting a podcast or whatever the fuck you do. Just knowing who your audience is.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Just know, like you said, like the basics, like what you want to talk about. If you want to, co-host or no co-host, if you want to,
record every week
or bi-weekly or once a month.
Mm-hmm.
Just those are the top things you need to get, and then computer and a microphone, and you good to go.
Right.
Like those are the top things you can learn along the way. But yeah. Let me see. What made you want to be a part of Melanin Voices Union? Because if you guys weren't aware, because those who are newcomers, it started off with me and Michelle, and we were together, and then, she was pregnant with Nova, and then it was the three of us for a little bit, and then, it became the two of us, me and Una. But during that time, how did you become the three of us? How did you become a trio from a duo?
I feel like we've talked about this before, so I won't like go detail by detail.
Like, what episodes? Y'all had 110 episodes.
Oh, the 100th episode for sure. We talked about it then.
We definitely did.
So, but I think it was just like, I just saw an opportunity to grow, and I saw like a need, not in like y'all needed me, but like I knew Michelle was gonna go on maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like the perfect opportunity for me to just slide right in, or just at least try it out. Like, okay, maybe I can shoot my shot and like co-host for a month or 6 weeks, or whatever, until Michelle is like back. Right. But it ended up turning into something else, which was of course beautiful. I don't know, maybe like there was a part of me that felt like I had something to say, or I wanted to get outside of my comfort zone, or I enjoyed listening to the podcast myself. So to be a part of it was just like cool. Right, like a plus.
Yeah. She lying, y'all. She listens to a damn podcast and shit.
I'm
kidding, y'all.
Come on. If I reached out to be on a podcast without listening to it, then I'm just
exactly. I'm like, say it. No, say the truth and shame the devil. Okay, say it, because you have to call people out. And I'm about to say it next, so go ahead. It's a good segue to what I was gonna say.
Then I'm just as bad as these other fools. Like I would never be like, no, that would be crazy.
So my next thing I was gonna say, because I guess I'm the one that says the most controversial things. Not really. I think we both do.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you definitely do. But I would say, if you want to be a guest on a podcast or just any platform in general, a podcast, a talk show, YouTube channel, whatever, shit, a job interview, a company,
right, anything,
please make sure that you are researching if your brand and their brand aligns. You're probably thinking, man, I'm just going to need a job, you know. What you talking about? You talk about your podcast stuff, talk about guests. No, even if you're going for a job, does it feel right? Does the company align with your values? That's something you can be researching. The same thing goes with podcast or whatever digital space you're going into. If you want to be a guest on a podcast, just don't go on a podcast because you're like, oh, they got this amount of listens or they got
right. You
this
think
amount
it's
of
gonna
followers,
only benefit you,
and then you try to get on their podcast and they're like, no, because we'd be like, no, because yeah, we have musical artists on, but we don't just interview about your music the entire time. We actually speak about different topics. So if you're coming on for promo, it probably won't be the best bet if you're just wanting to talk about your entire album. Now, if you're open to talking about different topics, and sure, but we've had a number of musical artists want to come on and talk about their art. And that's fine because that's what we talk about, but it's not the sole base of our podcast. And, you know, I think that you should reach out to podcasts that align with you. I'm just not getting on the music artists because it's not just been them, but it's just a good reference that I'm able to draw from right now. But just any podcast, you know what I mean? You wouldn't want to go on maybe you wouldn't want to go on a cooking show podcast if you're, you know, somebody who don't even give a damn about cooking. I don't know, like just certain things that you want to align with if you're able to. So I would say do your research before you attach your brand to anything. You know, you don't know what views those people hold or what, you know, anything their views their audience holds. You don't even want their audience to be attached to your audience.
right?
So you should just really keep that in mind when reaching out to podcasts to get onto their platform, or like I said, any digital space, talk show, YouTube channel, whatever.
Right.
Just research their audience and that's somebody.
Listen to one. Like
I get it. All publicity is good publicity for some people, but it's really not. All publicity is not good publicity. If you don't want to be on a show that has nothing to do with you, and then you get on and you get a new audience that's expecting something out of you, and you're like, that's not who I am, but that's what they think you are because you're part of that, you know, audience now. So I don't know, my 2 cents.
Excuse me. Yeah. Don't do that.
Right. Don't do that.
Yeah, because I mean, that's one of the like most annoying things when people are like, can I do this? Or what do y'all talk about? It's like, well, do you listen to the show?
Or even like, yeah, we get that often, like our vernacular, like, oh, do you guys curse? Like if you listen to any episode, you don't have to listen to all of our episodes. You can listen to one episode and get a sense of our style and our vernacular and how we have dialogue with each other. We curse all the time. We are free of expression. We don't hold anybody back from speaking the way that they speak. So if they stutter, they got a list, you know, they curse. We're not going to be like, can you say that again?
Right.
Not say, no. But you would know those things if you did your research. So that's all I'm saying. You can bypass all that. Now, if you were to say, okay, man, they already listened to 2 episodes. They didn't talk about sex in that episode I listened to. They was talking about, you know, money and therapy. They didn't really talk about sex. Okay, cool. Let me just, hey, would you guys want to talk about sex in the upcoming episode? I'd love to be in a topic speaking about that. Cool, let's do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Versus like, what do you guys talk about?
It's like,
it seemed like you didn't do your research,
right,
or that you don't care, that you're just trying to be on the show just to be on the show.
Right.
And it gives a very sour taste in our mouths. So I know that if you're doing it to other podcasts or any other creatives, it gives a very sour taste in their mouths.
Right. So
you probably should not do that and do a little bit more research. And by research, I mean literally, you know, we had a whole website. I don't know if y'all visited it, but we had a whole website, www.melaninvoices.com. We pay good money per month. We had an Instagram. We've had a Twitter that we aren't really active on, but we had it. a Facebook page to where, and we even gave our own Instagram handle so you could get a sense of who we were, so that you could just do your research like, oh, okay, I know that they're about this. So I want to talk about this, or whatever the case is. Or I know Mariah was talking about this in a live of hers. I want to expand on that topic. Or I know Yuna is a doula. I want to talk about that. Just little things to do a little bit of research. You didn't got to listen to episode to find that information out. You know what I mean? So take the tools that you have and make sure that you're approaching people with respect and not wasting anyone's time, because it seems like you're wasting your time and our time if you reach out to people and you don't have any idea of what they do.
Yeah, like she said, if you don't listen to an episode, go to our Instagram.
Right.
Maybe our personal Instagrams or our Melanin Voices Instagram.
Right.
To find out, or our website. Like there's so much out there. Not so much, but there are things out there about who we are and what we do and what we're interested in. So to say you don't know is like kind of weird, and it's like you want to bring something to the table. It's
not weird. It's lazy.
Yeah, you want to bring something to the table. It's not like we came to you and like, oh yeah, come on the show, and then expect you to come with topics or whatever. Like if you reach out to us because you want to come on the show, what do you want to talk about?
Right.
We love music, but we're just not that kind of podcast. We're not gonna talk about your album.
Right.
Maybe if it has something to do with therapy or sex or like something like that, and we may discuss it briefly, but we're just not that. We weren't that kind of
podcast.
Yeah.
Or we're not going to be.
We're not
future tense. That kind of podcast. So yeah.
Wow.
So that's that. So that's it. That's just our little rant, I suppose, about reaching out about guests, and even should I get podcasts too? We do our research too.
Yeah, it was super fun going to Detroit and being a part of having the Unicorns Are Real on our podcast and being on their podcast.
Yeah,
that was really fun.
So, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was fun to be able to travel with the show like we did it all the time. We didn't, but that one time
we definitely did have plans on doing a COVID fucked up everything. But if we could have done a city tour, Detroit would have definitely been on the list. Of course, Detroit and New Orleans. That's where we're from. Of course, those are the two places we would have went to.
Right.
I don't know if any New Orleans podcasts though. Not that I can think of right now. That would have been cool to link up with someone.
Yeah. I know there are some. I just haven't.
Yeah, we just haven't listened to them.
Yeah.
We ain't been put on yet, so put us on. Tag us in some podcast episodes, because we listen to podcasts all the time. That's why we started the podcast, because we actually love podcasting.
Right. And listening to podcasts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. And I do want to say thank you to all the listeners who have always, like, whenever I have like a comment with Mariah, like, question on my story, you guys are like, oh, talk about this, responding with if I'm like, how do you guys feel about this? Responding with in-depth, not questions, but in-depth comments about a certain topic I'm asking you about, just being interested in our show. We genuinely appreciate it, because, sometimes it can get discouraging as a podcast. We're not making any money from this. Like, this is solely like a hobby of us, an expensive ass hobby at that. So we're not making money. So sometimes it gets discouraging at times when you're putting out your art, and of course you're doing it because you love it, and but you want it to be received well. So having you all receive it well has been really nice to know.
Do you think that there's podcasting in your future?
Maybe. Like I said, like, I don't know what our future holds, but I do love podcasting. I just don't know right now if I'm willing to commit to it. But I do see it because I like talking about certain topics, obviously. Because if I don't know it,
her ass like talking, period.
I sure do, baby. But if it's not a topic I don't have much information on, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna come back to you when I got my sources together, because I ain't got shit to say about this. But yes, so I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know, but it's leaning toward yes. I would love to podcast again. However, I don't know when or how that may be.
If you were to do a podcast, would it be about like similar topics, or would it be like something completely different?
I think similar topics. We talk about everything under the sun, pretty much. I think we're a pretty diverse podcast. I think we literally talked about everything from like child making to divorce to doulaing to business owner to entrepreneurship to money to sex to relationships to friendships.
Do you
We
think
talk
that
about
was
everything.
Do you think that was a part of like our detriment? Do you think that we
never had a focus?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that was an issue that we never focused on one thing?
I don't think so. I think a lot of the podcasts that we listen to, that we love and that are successful don't have one set thing that they talk about. I will bring up. I always reference Friend Zone a lot on this show because it's been such a pivotal podcast for us, I would say. But they literally talk about everything under the sun too. Literally everything, and they've been successful. So I think that if your audience likes you, it doesn't matter about, and if you like what you're doing too, it doesn't matter about what you talk about, just how to relate, I guess. So yeah, because I mean, think about it. Say Fran or Destin or Asante, we're talking about the Friend Zone once more. If those guests, and they do have their own business ventures, Destin has his own podcast aside from the Friend Zone, as well as Asante. I don't think Francesca does. However, they have their hands in different things.
Insecurity.
Exactly. Yes, with Crystal for the Insecure TV show. So they all have their hands in different podcasts and just different creative ventures. And, the audience loves them so much that they follow them and that they support them in those ventures as well. So what I'm trying to get at is, I think that as long as you can talk about anything under the sun on your podcast, as long as your, audience is inclined to your voice and what you have to say and your viewpoints, then your podcast will be successful. I think.
I was thinking about why our podcast wasn't like as quote unquote successful. I mean, we definitely had fun. It definitely.
You mean monetary wise? That's what we're saying.
Yes,
I think, right?
Yes, monetarily. I'm not talking about for us because
we loved it.
Right, it was.
We're talking about money wise.
Right, fulfilling for us. But I'm thinking like one of the things that I always thought about was like I don't have an audience. Like, I feel like in what else am I trying to say? And like
I don't, bitch. I just answered your question.
And like I think that I don't know, I kind of feel like sometimes I'll be putting stuff on myself, but I feel like I'm like don't translate as well as I do on the podcast, like in person, like I'm not super friendly. I'm not talkative unless I know you, you know what I'm saying? Or unless we're on the show. So I'm like, wondering like if that played a part in it,
In our podcast?
It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah,
I'm not looking for an answer.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because I seen you looking. No, I'm not looking for an answer.
Go ahead then.
But yeah, what's something that you would have wanted to do more of?
I would have wanted to do more promo. I love us getting dressed up, and we haven't had a chance to do the things we wanted to do, which was shoot a video. Wanted to like do like a commercial type of thing, so where we could like have our intro. Cause I love our intro. Have our intro, and but you obviously have like a commercial feel to it. So we get like a every day in the life where like us walking down, in our case, our downtown of like 16th Street Mall. Or like
not 16th Street Mall.
Girl, I'm like, what else is like this? Oh, we can do Park Hill.
Okay.
I'm just talking about like big buildings type of like big city vibe, kind of thing. I was thinking like, how Sex and the City is?
Yeah. No, I don't. But
I don't either. I ain't gonna lie. I've only seen the movies. I've never seen the show. I haven't seen Sex and the City. I'm more of a girlfriend's kind of girl. And they don't really have like scenes like that. Because obviously it's shot in the studio. But to add to my thing, I was like, just do more promo like that, and that'd have been cool. And obviously, COVID ruined our plans of touring, because I would have loved to have toured to different to different cities.
A tour
that would have been nice. Like having live shows in different cities would have been really nice. And I think that's all I can think of at the moment. Maybe that, and just having a studio base, having a studio. Like a set studio would have been cool.
Yeah. I say
and encouraging.
I wish we had someone to like manage us.
That too.
I wish we had someone to manage us and to like be a part of the show, but like behind the scenes, like you know,
like a manager,
right?
Like a lot of podcasts do have that where they not even just because we've had engineers before, you know, and that's been really helpful. But I'm talking about like we're talking about like helping us with our social media posts because we have 9 to 5, like we can't do it all. So helping us with our social media posts and our captioning and like posting to each platform for us, you know, and making sure that, you know, things are paid on time or whatever the case is, and just kind of like, and that's not even a lot really when you think about it, but when it's just the two of us, it can become a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, having a manager to like be like, hey, like almost Tuesday, you know, you're gonna post that graphic, or how's it looking, or whatever the case is, and or them posting it for us, actually posting it for us on our behalf, and
yeah, someone
like
to hold
like
us
a social media manager.
Yeah, someone to hold us accountable for sure. Because I know that sometimes one of us will get like out of the mood, and then we both get out of the mood, and then it takes a while for the both of us to be back in the mood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I wish we would have either held each other more accountable or like had someone to do that for us.
Right.
And like helped us out monetarily. Like I don't know. It just I'm being pessimistic right now, but it just is like
I think you're saying what you feel, but
yeah.
I can see that too. Or even having somebody who's a manager that manages everything, that can get a sponsorship, so that way we can have the money to do the things we want to do. We're talking about promo. Who's gonna pay for that promo? You know, videographers want money. You know,
right? They ain't free.
Want money.
They ain't free.
Makeup artists want money. You know, we gotta get clothing. So having the sponsorships to do all those things and tour like we want to tour and just do certain things requires money, and we are making that, which is just the facts. It's not being pessimistic, it's being realistic and saying that we don't have the monetary, you know, bandwidth to do that. So having somebody to get us a sponsor, because we don't have time to respond to each email all the time. You know, it takes us 2 or 3 business days to get back to people because we have our own emails and our own lives to, you know, tend to. So having somebody who can take over our email system and get us the sponsorships, and someone else who can take over our social media. If we had those 2 things in place, I think we can just come and just be ourselves and literally just come and talk. Me, I guess in this case, edit. I'm okay with still doing that, and just come and talk and edit and submit and just go. That would make us. I think that it would take such a huge weight off of our shoulders. So that's that. What?
I want to ask you a question, but I don't want to ask it, so I'll ask it.
You don't want to ask it? You want to ask it on air? You want to ask me after?
Yeah, I'll ask you after.
Okay. I'm assuming you want to ask after, so I'll answer your question, but yeah. But that's it, you guys. I don't know what else to say. What else do you want to say?
I'm gonna ask it. When did you realize that you didn't want to do this anymore?
I think I realized, I mean, I didn't really have a realization that I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It just kind of like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of like,
girl, you say
a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed like a lot. It really did, especially at the time that I've been going through, I guess. Because if you guys don't know, I've been doing convos on my Instagram. So it's like,
oh, and it's lit, okay? It's really lit.
Thank you, Yuna. Thank you, friend. And obviously that is very similar to Melanin Voices because it's a digital space. It's still on Instagram. It's still being uploaded. I'm still talking and I'm still interviewing, technically speaking. However, you know, I don't have to, and I'm not gonna lie, and I don't post about it much, and so it kind of takes away the element of having to feel, and I don't even say pressure, but having to have that priority of posting on social media to advertise for it. And I don't know. So basically, back to what I was saying, I felt as if it was the last time or I felt like it was the end for now anyways, was when I just didn't have that spark to want to record. There'll be times I'd be like, yes, I can't wait to record on the weekend, or I can't wait to, you know, promote Melanin Voices. And when that stopped, I was like, oh, fuck. I've never felt that way before. So it just felt different. What about you?
Wait.
What about you?
What about me?
What made you ask me that question?
I just wanted to know when was the moment that you was like, or when did you start to fall out of love or whatever
with hip hop?
Right. I feel like it was like around the 100th episode.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love that episode.
No, I just feel like that was like the peak, and I feel like we just.
Oh, guess. Yeah, I guess.
But this year has been shit too, y'all. Though, so
it has been pretty shitty.
Yeah, this year has been shit.
Not gonna lie, it has been very unexpected.
So much has changed. So much has happened.
Changed. And not to say that you can't, because I'm not saying, that every other podcast doesn't go through the same changes, or if more, not even, I'm gonna say more, because bitch, my shit is relevant and it matters, bitch.
Period.
But I'm not saying that people don't go through similar experiences. However, everything affects everyone differently.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
What?
How'd you know you fall in love with hip hop?
Like I said, I think this year we just, I'm gonna speak for me. It's just like I just got like lazy with it. Like,
yeah, definitely got stagnant.
Yeah, and like it wasn't like as
fulfilling,
fresh. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I still, want to do it. Like it's not that. It's just like I don't know. It's just I just spit it out. I'm trying to.
Please, because people gonna be sending me hate mail. So it sounds like Mariah's the only one.
I mean,
you can revamp it, girl. Leave her out of it. Down with the hoe. The hoe must go. Down with the hoe. The hoe must go.
What is that off of?
I don't even know. I just made that shit up.
No, you did not.
I did. I really did. They're gonna be picking it outside like you said she wants to do it. That's how it's sounding.
Bro, I'm about to leave the studio.
Y'all. She's about to leave her bedroom. I'm gonna stop lying. We ain't got no damn studio.
Shit, okay? Them niggas be at the studio, so we at the studio, okay? Them niggas be at the studio and they live
literally, it's quarantine. Everybody be recording from home. Who the fuck is, most people, some people aren't, but I'm saying some of our top favorite podcasts are recording from home. Like,
yeah,
the Friend Zone, the Read, stuff like that, they're recording from home.
Oh shit.
I'm done with this, kicking this shit over.
Yeah, so let's wrap this up, y'all. Where can we find you? What's next?
Why are you talking like I'm a guest?
Because like we're ending this, so if people want to people.
Well, what about you, Una? Because you mentioned earlier that you don't feel like you have an audience, and that may be the cause of the reason to our detriment. So
I'm not saying like I won't. Like I'm just saying
I'm saying. Where can we find you? A doula.
Can you just answer my question?
A creative.
Can you answer my question first, and then I'll.
No, answer my question.
No, I asked you.
You always ask my damn questions.
Well, friend,
I asked a question.
Y'all, like I keep saying, this year's been a lot. I just transitioned to a new position, new job, and it's taken up a lot of my time. So I haven't really been able to put any energy into my doula work, which is it's sad for me because it's something that I really want to do, but it's not bringing me any money. So it's like I have to do the thing that brings me money, which is work, which is I can't really focus on anything else. Like it would be hard for me to get called into a birth while I'm at my job because I can't just like get up and leave, so unfortunately I haven't been able to like put much into that, which makes me really sad. I, just got my yoga teacher training certificate, but I still need to teach some classes before it's officially official.
So we can start holding yoga classes. That's how we can get the money to be a doula.
The money to be a doula?
Yeah. So you hold sessions or yoga events, and then you get enough money, you can leave your job. Well, you can be a doula.
See, the thing about the work that I want to do it for people who can't afford it.
Also, you want to do yoga for people who can't afford to.
And to be a doula, I want to be a doula and a yoga instructor for people who can't afford to.
So you want to do it free of charge or donation based?
Right, donation based. People who don't have access. Of course, I want you to pay me, but if you don't have access to, I still want
to do it for you.
That to be available to you. People
so
feel
basically send us some job opportunities that are flexible, so she can do both.
Right.
That pay $22 or more an hour.
Period. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, universal_unicorn. That's where I'll be. I mean, I don't know what's next for me, if I'll even do anything that's in the digital world, because before this I wasn't doing anything, in the digital world.
I might come over here and record her making some meals and start up Unidish again, like we've been trying to do for the past 10 years.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. Where can they find you? What's up? What's next for you? What's going on?
Currently, what's going on? I don't know. I'm taking it day by day, but we'll see how it goes. I'm recording Comments with Mariah on my Instagram Live. I do that each Friday. Not each Friday. Honestly, I do when I feel like it. Not gonna lie. So most of the time, twice a month, I get together with somebody that I really admire and I think has something to add to the conversation. Lately, we've been talking a lot about dating and sex and intimacy. And so I'll be doing that a lot on my Instagram. My Instagram is Mariah_amazing. Honestly, you can find me on everything, Mariah_amazing. Twitter, Facebook. Don't find me on Facebook. Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Mariah_amazing.
They can't find you on Facebook?
I'm good. And if you have a job for me, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Mariah Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. I do have a YouTube.
She does have a Facebook
that I have not really committed to. That's Mariah Stewart as well. If you want to follow my YouTube, that's cool. But right now I'm doing Instagram Live and Comments with Mariah, just a little spin-off, and be doing that on Instagram Live. I said on Fridays. Of course, if you look at my stories, I announce it prior to that Friday, so you'll know the upcoming Friday that's coming on. Like I said, I don't have a set schedule for it. I kind of do when I feel called to. So yeah.
Friend, you got a spin-off show.
I do.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
What's the spin-off of Girlfriends? Nothing?
The Game.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, this is it, y'all.
They doing these. The one-on-one I was watching, they did that shit so wrong. Like, bro, that ending was like,
for what?
One-on-one, you gotta watch the season. You gotta watch it all the way, obviously, from the beginning to the end, so you can get emotionally invested in your heart, ripped out your chest at the end, the right way. Because that season finale was fucking whack. Like, we had no closure. I mean, most shows you don't have closure, but
right,
that you didn't have. I mean, Girlfriends, you really didn't have no closure. But One-on-one, I'm like, oh my god, like what happened? Like, we'll never know. So anyways, if you know, Netflix has become blackly black thanks to Strong Black Lead and getting all these old nostalgic shows on there, Moesha and One-on-One and Half and Half, Sister and Girlfriends and The Game and all these shows and movies right now. So it's pretty lit if you're inside chilling. You have a lot of options to choose from as far as cinema.
They trying to use this so we can stay inside, so we stay out from protesting and shit. They trying to put all the black stuff on Netflix.
Okay, Dr. Umar.
Conspiracy theory, okay?
Dr. Umar.
They don't want us to do shit. That's why they putting all this shit on TV. They know how to get us.
All right, yeah.
And I'm in here, so no judgment.
Jessica Jackson.
But yeah, so this is it, y'all. This is it for Melanin Voices. Yeah, we'll catch y'all in the I was about to say in the streets, but
we'll catch you in the digital streets.
Yeah, we'll catch you in the digital streets.
Stay safe, stay love, and you can always reach out to us and keep in touch, because you never know when we may be back. If we do.
Right, if. All right, y'all. Well, we love you guys so much. Thanks for being a part of our family for the last
4.5 years.
Wow, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll get together and do a live or some shit. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe tomorrow. I mean, this is Monday, so maybe before it comes out, we'll do one to let y'all know what's going on. I'm only saying that because my makeup gonna be done tomorrow.
Bitch, your makeup, okay?
You don't even need makeup. Your fucking skin is flawless.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Thanks for being a part of our family. We'll see y'all around. Follow us on Instagram. Mariah's on all socials. Find her on Facebook.
Don't follow me on Facebook. You're not gonna get at it. I love y'all though, but Instagram and Twitter, please. I need my boundaries set. I barely want people on my Facebook. I'm deleting people every day.
Stop.
So yeah.
Yeah, Una universal. What? Una underscore. No, wait. What's my Instagram name?
Universal_unicorn.
Universal_unicorn.
Also, as you know, in the description on Apple Podcasts, and if you're looking at SoundCloud as well and YouTube, you will see our description have our social media handles. So you ain't gotta worry about memorizing it.
Cause clearly
she can't even memorize it.
I'm high. Shit. I'm not, but you know.
Yeah, high off life.
Right? Well, all right, this is it, y'all.
All right, we love you guys so much, and I'm so happy that we didn't cry this episode.
Ain't nobody got time for that. It's like I already got a headache. I can't.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Love you.
Love you so much.
And love yourselves.